Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. This is episode 39. I'm your host, Christy Rosario, here in Los Angeles. My co-host is Richard Solomon, the boxing prophet in New York City. And Mike Cassell, who is a boxing writer and a professional boxing trainer from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is joining us as well. How are you guys doing today?
Great. All good.
How are you, Mike? I keep calling you Mike, though. Do you go by Mike or Michael? What do you prefer?
My mother yells at me and calls me Michael. I'd rather you call me Mike, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. So when I call you Michael, you think I'm yelling at you?
I think I'm in trouble. I think something happened. You know what I mean?
You are never in trouble. I'm sure you're a good boy. So, Prophet, how are you?
I'm good. Dealing with the cold weather, but that's to be expected. I wish I was in California, but good. Not the best weekend for the Prophet. Mike kind of embarrassed me, but we'll get to that later on in the show.
Sorry about that, buddy.
Are you talking about a steak dinner that you might owe me?
Not only do I owe you a steak dinner, but I might have to get a trophy case of some sort and mail Mike his own vintage boxing robe for Christmas, sort of like an early Christmas present for that pick heard round the world last week that he made. And very few people made that pick, but obviously we'll get to that later in the show. But I respect the man a tremendous deal, and he's only been on the show 2 times, and I think I've already developed sort of what do you call it, like a man crush. He's my brother. He's my brother in crime over something.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, you heard it here first. Prophet has a man crush. Okay, how do you feel about that, Michael?
Listen, I think the Prophet is great, and there's a reason why they call him the Prophet. He's been right a lot of times. So, listen, everybody picks a dog now and again, and it just happened to be Broner. And I think a lot more people saw that coming than you think. But we'll talk about that later on. But I want to thank you for all the kind words, and believe me, if I can get your reputation, if they can call me maybe the Prophet's buddy or the Prophet's son, I'll be all right with that. I'll be okay with that.
All right, guys. Well, you can call in. It's wild because I actually thought we had K9 right now because we have so many 313 area codes lighting up that they all want to talk to K9. I thought he was already here, so I'm so confused. So I'm going to give you the number to call, and I'm afraid to give the number because we have so many people waiting for K9, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. It's 347-324-5998. Again, 347-324-5998. You can find us on Twitter at Real Combat Media or at Boxing Girl, BXINGIRL for my Twitter. And Boxing Prophet 68 is the Boxing Prophet. And what is your Twitter, Michael?
My Twitter is Fighting City 1.
Okay, so you heard it, Fighting City 1 for Michael Cassell. They're like, oh, Mike Cassell, that's right. We don't want him to think I'm yelling at him. All right. All right. Okay, our topics for this episode will be the Broner versus Maidana and the Thurman versus Soto Crest recap, as well as Santa Cruz versus Seda. And we will discuss what is next for these fighters. We had some surprises, which is very exciting to me. Later in the show, we will have former professional fighter, boxing commentator, and current world-class trainer, Iceman, John Scully. Now, coming up, I'm going to go to a commercial. We're going to come right up back. with the IBF World Champion Junior Middleweight Cornelius Canine Bundrage. Now, Canine is set to fight against Joey Hernandez on January 24th for a title eliminator bout, which I'm really excited about because, you know, this is one of the good guys, Canine. He is a role model. He's an upstanding guy all around, and so I'm very happy that he's going to get to have this fight because he should have fought Cotto, but that's what we'll talk about as well. So after the commercial, we'll come back with Canine. So hold on.
This is Real Combat Media Radio. Check us out at realcombatmedia.com. While you're there, check out the Feed the Poor link on the bottom of every article, and you can send a donation if you're interested. That is, once again, on the bottom of every article as well as on the top of the website. If you are an MMA, boxing, or fitness business and interested in sponsoring our website or radio podcast, send us an email. Advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Once again, that is advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Make sure to check out the Real Combat Media MMA and boxing store at the top of the menu at realcombatmedia.com. We carry a collection of products. We have the Cardio Mask, which is excellent for all fighters, endurance athletes, and serious fitness enthusiasts. Once you are in the Real Combat Media store, click on the banner on that page. We also carry Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is a great and natural product which activates your brain's neurotransmitters and helps you think more clearly, which improves brain function. You can also purchase the world's healthiest plant protein, which comes from hemp. There are many other products on the online store, and click on the On It banner at the Real Combat Media store, and you can purchase Alpha Brain and other health products. Use the discount code Real Combat Media, and you will receive 10% off at the checkout store on the On It. That is ONNIT on the banner at Real Combat Media store. Buckle up. Here we go. Let's get this show started.
Welcome back to Real Combat Media Boxing Radio, episode 39. I am your host, Christy Rosario, still here in Los Angeles with my co-host, Richard Solomon, the boxing prophet in New York City, and Mike Cassell, all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Live callers, 347-324-5998. Again, you can Twitter us at Real Combat Media or find us on Facebook, Real Combat Media in the search bar. Now, here we are. Okay, we have a little dilemma. I'm trying to get K9. We're trying to get him on the phone. But I'm not sure because we have so many 313s that if it's hard for him to get through. So what I'm going to do is, wow, K9 is so good at promotion that there's so many people on here. I'm so excited because this is fantastic. But now since he has everybody else here, and I'm not sure he is actually here yet, but you know what? I think he is. Let me go. Let me take a chance here. We're going to push a button. Is this K9?
Yeah, this K9.
I'm so glad because there are so many people on the line from your area waiting to talk to you and wanting to hear from you, K9. It's crazy.
Oh, that's good. Detroit's in the house. That's right.
That's for sure. That is for sure. Thank you for coming back on. I mean, the last time we spoke, you were supposed to fight Miguel Cotto. What happened with that?
Oh, Miguel, they wanted somebody that they felt that they can knock off much easier. They knew a fight with me was going to be hard, so I think at the last minute they got cold feet. So they went ahead and, picked Rodriguez. You see how long that didn't go long at all. I would have knocked that boy out. That's why they didn't pick me, or they didn't choose to fight me.
Oh, that's too bad because you know what? You two are two of my favorite fighters, and I would love to see that happen. But, I have to congratulate you. You have a new, beautiful baby girl. Congratulations.
Oh, man. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, boy. Yeah, man, she's just everything to me. I'm just so happy to have a daughter. I think I done got soft because I couldn't make daughters until I got soft, so now I can make little girls.
Now you have the heart for the little girls. Now, is this your first daughter?
Yeah, this is my first daughter. Yep. Actually, pretty paranoid having a girl. I ain't never dealt with a girl before. Not no daughter. I'm used to little boys, but, man, a little girl, oh, man.
Oh,
yeah.
So now you're going to be one of those protective fathers, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I ain't going to play with them. They better be good. Be good and be nice.
Are you still doing, what about what's happening with you and your shoes? I know you were on last time talking about shoes, or with sneakers, right? Running shoes?
Yeah. You know what? I think we're gonna come out with the shoe after I get my belt back, because then the shoe will sell even more with me being current world champ versus former world champ.
I got you.
I think like in the spring, summertime. Plus my pay will go up as a world champion if I sign a contract as a world champion versus signing one as a former world champion. Dollar signs will be greater.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? You're so popular right now, and I think whatever you do, I'll be looking forward to yours. So they're special running sneakers, or what will they be?
Oh, you know what? It's going to actually be a running sneaker, and it's going to be a boxing shoe. I'm actually with a boxing shoe when I fight January 24th on Fox Sport 1. You get a chance to see me with them, just so you can see that it makes you move faster, it makes you jump higher, it makes you get out the way of punches. I mean, if you're a boxer, you got to get the shoe. It don't just look good, and it's just not my shoe. It's just a K9 shoe. No, it's actually a good shoe. I would wear it even if my name wasn't on it.
So they're a low top or a high top, or, you know, what makes them so good?
They're high top. They're high top. I mean, they look heavy. They light. They got a good grip on it. You can step back fast. You push off the ball of your feet real good. I mean, it's a real, and it's nice. It's nice looking too. But you know what I'm saying? I really designed it, helped design it, and I made sure I put my foot in it. I tried them out to make sure it was the exact shoe that I wanted, that I would actually wear in a fight. I didn't want nothing that was just going to be nice looking. I wanted it to actually help you perform better too, and help you have a good grip, and just it's a good shoe. I mean, it actually looks like an actual basketball shoe. You can even wear the shoe outside, just walking down the street. It looks like that kind of shoe.
So does it have, like, you know, I used to wear wrestling shoes. I still do to referee and judge. So there's really no padding on the bottom, nothing good at least. Does this have any, like, little gel or any special, you know, stuff inside to make it?
Yeah, it's kind of grippy. It's real grippy. It's like the grip on a 300, you know, a 300 G8 or a Vet. It has that kind of grip where you can take off. You know what I mean? They got that iron grip. Since I'm Iron Dog, you got that iron dip. That iron grip, yeah.
Oh,
it's a good shoe.
Cool.
It's a good shoe, you know. Yeah, it's a good shoe. It's real leather. It's real high quality leather too. It ain't no cheap shoe.
Right.
Ain't no cheap shoe. You know, we ain't gonna do people like that.
No, I wouldn't expect anything less. And so, do you have a name for this shoe? Is it called the K9, or what is it called?
Oh yeah, it's the K9. It's the Warrior. It's the Warrior brand, the Warrior edition. Yeah, I'm a warrior, right. So, you know, we thought about, well, should we be soldier? Should we be, you know, no, we're going to be warrior, because that's what I am, I'm a warrior. Never die in the ring.
You are.
Keep punching. The dog is coming January 24th, yeah.
That's right. I was just about to tell everyone, January 24th, against Joey Hernandez, you are going to be fighting in Fantasy Springs Casino in Dio, California. Not too far from me.
That's right.
So we are looking forward to this, K9.
Oh, yeah.
It's been
you
a while.
Be there, right? You going to be there?
Okay, let me tell you. I wouldn't miss it except that you are having your fight at the same week as the U.S. Nationals in Spokane, Washington, which I have to go to because they're sending me there. So I'm sorry. That's the only reason I would ever miss your fight, because I was so looking to go to your fight with Miguel Cotto or whoever you were fighting before this. So next time, I promise.
Okay, that's all right. Just tape it, DVR it, and, you know,
of course.
Just rewind and back and forth. I don't want you to miss nothing, so it'll be classic. Definitely be classic.
I would definitely not miss anything. But now, what are you feeling about, you know, Joey Hernandez? He has a lot of fights. He doesn't have the best record. He's 23. Actually, he does have a very good record. I'm sorry, I was looking at someone else. 23-13. Only one loss, one knockout, and one draw. So, I mean, that's a real good record. It's been a little while since you've been back in the ring. What do you think about Joey?
He a mutt. You know, when we do with mutts, we put him in a dog pound. We get rid of him. You know what they do with mutts? They get rid of mutts. They put him to sleep. That's what I'm going to do to him. I'm putting him to sleep. Night. Stay down. Your dog is coming. Lion King, January 24th. Yeah, that boy all bark and no bite.
But what are you doing specifically in your training to fight with Joey? I mean, have you been watching tapes on Joey, or is it just like generic? You train for K9.
Man, let me tell you, he's a club fighter. I remember back in the day when I was in a club, I used to fight in a club. I knocked club fighters out back in the day. That's when they didn't know me. But you know him, he's a club fighter. I'm going to knock him out. That's all I'm going to do. Then go to the next. Then I'm going to tell Cotto, Floyd, whoever, you can get it, just like Joey got it.
Well, did you see the fight this last weekend with Maidana and Broner? What did you think of that one?
Wow. All I can say is wow. Man, Maidana, he did what he had to do. Broner lost. It was his first loss. Hopefully he can bounce back from that. A lot of people talk about he's arrogant and, he this, he that, ain't this, but, he be trying to sell tickets. And I just hope, that he gets saved and, get God in his life. If he don't have him, well, it's kind of apparently today. But get God in his life, he'll be okay. He's off the record. He's a cool guy. I met him, we talked. Just when that camera come on, people just, they do what they do. But I wish him the best, and I hope he bounce back from it. Because when I lost my first fight, I bounced back from it. It's gonna show what kind of fighter he is the next time he fight. If he come back off this, because everybody can't come off a loss.
No, not everybody can, especially that wasn't just a loss, K9. He got beat up, okay? Yeah. And you talk about him and how when the lights are on and the cameras, come on. I mean, it's like you are the antithesis of Adrian Broner. And that's what, for me, bothers me as a mother, to see his antics. And it made me happy that he lost, I have to say it. Someone like you, someone like Maidana, I root for wholeheartedly. So would you like to fight one of them?
Them guys, they fight welterweight. They like 147. I don't know if I ever go down.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm a junior middleweight. Yeah. But you never know. And I'm looking to do big things and do things I haven't ever done. So it's a chance I can go down to welterweight. My wife, she doesn't want me to go to welterweight. She says, stay up here. We need you. We don't want you to take a chance on going down there and killing yourself. And I like challenges, so you never know. But shout out to Team K9. SB Promotions, my manager, she doing her thing, Dollar Bill. Hey, we got a good team. Yes, we do. You
have a good team. So if you went down to welterweight, that would be a little bit like give up the ice cream or give up what you have to really kind of diet a little too much to get to that way. Huh?
Yeah, you know what? I'm sitting here looking at this lemon pudding cake right now.
Hey,
I bet you my opponent wish she can eat cake. He gonna get cake.
What's
gonna happen? Right. But
you know what it is, K9. Your wife doesn't want to have to suffer with you. When you are dieting and then she'd have to diet, forget it. I don't blame her. I say stay the weight that you're on. But you know what I want to do is, K9, we have so many people here, and I have a panel host and a co-host. And so many people, but, I'm curious because I want to take one of you callers because I want to hear what they have to say to you because when we started and I'm like, I just, it's awesome. Let's see. Let's pick one of these people and say, all right.
Okay.
I did talk to one of them, and I don't think she wanted to ask a question. She just wanted to hang on and ask, but I have a feeling I'm going to pick her first. Let's see. Is this Miss Kelly?
Hello?
Who's calling? See, K9? Yeah, we're here. She just got shy. We'll put her back over here. Hold on. Now we're going to go to the next caller. Let's see who's here. Hello, are you there? This is Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. I think you have these people that just want to stay on and listen to you, K9. That's what I think it is.
Right. They want me to go ahead. Right. Some of them just, right.
Let me see.
Hello?
Is someone there? Hello? Anyone else there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello? Do you have a question for K9?
Hello?
Hello? Do
Yeah,
you have a question for K9?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hey, K9.
Hey, what's up, though?
This AJ.
Oh, AJ, what's up, AJ? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. I'm sorry I couldn't make it up there for the sparring. I already know everything gonna be good, though.
Yeah, AJ. I'm trying to figure out which AJ is this.
From Joe's. I came up there inspired with you before your last fight at the Masonic Temple with Dre Ware.
Oh yeah, the South.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta come holler at me, man. What's going on? What's wrong?
Man, they just can't get the time out right now. You know, it's got a little busy, man.
Okay, you don't want any of this rhythm. That's what it is, huh?
No, you know I ain't scared to get in there.
Come on, get this rhythm, bro. Come on, get this rhythm.
Yeah, I gotta hit the dog pound soon, though.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt, man. I owe you anyway, don't I? Don't I owe you?
Yeah, you owe me.
Right. He's a good young fighter. Yeah, right. He was giving me a little work for that the last fight when I fought here at the Masonic Temple. Hey, Jay. Yeah, exactly. Hey, AJ, I gotta get your number, man. Why don't you give your number to the host and I can just get it from her because I don't got no pen. Do you have a pen?
I do. You want to give your number to everyone in the world, AJ? Go ahead.
Yeah, they can have it.
Okay. Well, you know what? I actually, you know what? I have it here. You don't have to give it to anybody. I'm going to put AJ right there, and I'll text it to K9 later. All right.
We gonna kick it, AJ.
All right.
Okay. I'll holler at you.
Bye, guys. Okay, stay on, K9. We're going to go to our next one.
Okay.
Hi, this is Christy, Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
This is Keith Lee.
Keith, that's my trainer right there. Let's get it, Keith.
Yeah. I want to let y'all know that y'all haven't seen nothing yet, baby. What's your name, young lady that I'm talking to? What's your name?
My name is Christy. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, let me tell you something. You better make sure you tune in on the 24th because you're going to see the real K9, the real Iron Dog. We took the name Dog and put iron in front of it. He ain't nothing to play with. He got a great coach. He got a great coaching team. He got a great corner. It's going to be something special.
Ooh,
I know.
You hear that?
I know, and you're correct. Everyone has to go see K9 fight. Everybody.
Let me explain something to you. I don't want you to be too much into what he fought the last time he fought because he wasn't right. This time he'll be 100% right, and I'm going to tell you something else. We want all of y'all media, we want all the media, we want everybody that's writing and talking and pleading and thinking, we want all y'all there. So we're going to do something really nasty to this guy.
Tell him, Coach.
We're going to do something really nasty to this guy.
Baby, that's right.
It's going to take 2 or 3 of these guys to do anything with K9 and ain't but one show up. So let's go.
All right. Well, you heard it here. You heard it here from K9's coach, Keith. Your name is Keith, right? Did you say Keith Lee?
That's right.
Keith
Lee.
Trained James Tony. He used to train James Tony.
Not only him. James Tony, Booker T, Word, quite a few fighters. But K9 is the main man now. Those guys don't matter. K9 matters now.
K9 matters now. He is the star. That is true.
Right. The rest of them mean nothing. The rest of them was doing that back in the day. He's the one now. We want y'all to get ready to see something special.
I do have a question for you, Keith. So, Keith, tell me something. Are you still training James? I know he keeps popping up and fighting. Are you still training him?
I haven't trained him in some years now. I had him from the amateurs until he was like 20-0. Then he made some changes and did some different things. So, I developed him. And after that, somebody else, after you know how to fight, it don't take very much to tell you what to do. I taught him how to fight, and everybody else after that, they told him what to do.
I got you. Well, you know what? You got K9. You got the best right here. So, thank you for calling in.
Let me tell you something. We changed his name from K9 the Dog to the Iron Dog because he is made out of iron, baby. And we ain't playing.
That's right.
No, you're not.
Right.
Listen. He eats spare carbs for breakfast. So I'm letting you know, it's no longer food. He's on iron. He's on iron metal. So let's go. Let's go. I want y'all to make sure y'all there now. Make sure y'all there. And make sure y'all there. Make sure everybody's there to hear what's going on because it's going to be really bad. But it's going to be good for the K9 team. Let's do it.
That's right.
All right.
See you in the gym tomorrow, Coach.
Okay. So
bring that pillow for my opponent.
It's time for me to eat now so I can get ready for him tomorrow in the gym because it takes a lot to be ready for him.
I know. You better go right now. Okay, Keith. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right.
Don't forget my pair.
All right, K9, let's move on to my host, because I know my co-host, because I know he wants to ask a question, and he's totally lost in here somewhere.
Okay.
Prophet, are you there?
I'm still here. I'm enjoying the show. K9's a character.
He is a character, so go ahead. You can ask your question.
Yeah, K9, last time you were on the show, you promised me you were going to get me that yell, the ringtone on my phone, and I have yet to get that. So I need permission to get that K9 rumble, on my ringtone phone, or at least a K9 T-shirt for Christmas, something like that.
Oh man, you know what? Just come. You in LA? We're gonna be in LA January 24th. Come on out to the fight, and I got you.
Well, I live in New York, and I'm going to watch it on TV. And the last time you were on the show, we discussed how the judges kind of gave you a raw deal against E.J. Smith. And then I suffered through a real bad case of insomnia, so I watched Molina take the title away from E.J. Smith in one of the most boring fights of the year on the undercard of Canelo Floyd Mayweather. And I'm thinking to myself, K9 would destroy both these guys. What the hell's going on here? And now I see you're in a title eliminator with a fighter who I don't even really know much about, Joey Hernandez. I don't know how he's ranked. You look at his resume, he doesn't have any names. You've been in there with Corey Spinks, Ishe Smith, Stevie Forbes, some of the best.
That's the girl.
Yes, definitely. And do you feel that you not only need to win this fight, but to knock out Joey Hernandez early to make a statement that indeed K9 is back in business?
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go out there really, and the only way he's gonna survive is to put his running shoes on and hold and make it look nasty. But I'm going out there to fight. I'm going out there to take his head off. I'm gonna go out there. They're gonna know that K9. It was something wrong with that last fight he had, and that this K9 right here. Oh man, it reminds me of the Contender days when he was on the Contender, when he gave Bravo the business. I'm back focused. My daughter, I just had a daughter, so man, she need diapers, so I'm gonna take care of business January 24th. It's spectacular. It's gonna be one of my best performances ever. And it ain't gonna be just because of who I'm fighting. It's gonna be because of how I'm fighting and how I feel. And I'm back focused, man. I'm just real focused, and I'm just hungry and I'm excited. I'm doing it for my team. I'm doing it for my city. I'm doing it for the Christians. I'm doing it for y'all, and I'm doing it for boxing, man. Boxing needs some good role models. They need a brother like K9, somebody that that's respectful, humble, Christian. And we need more brothers like me to be in the spotlight. To let so people can see that, man. Boxers ain't crazy, and they ain't out here just everybody ain't the same. And K9 ain't going nowhere. The dog is coming, and I'm unleashed. And this time around, huh?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, and this time around, God works in mysterious ways. He don't let stuff happen just to be happening. See, what's going to happen is Canelo might be forced to fight me because he's going to probably fight Molina. And if he beat Molina and he has the belt, guess who the mandatory will be? Me, because I'm going to crush my opponent. So he's going to have to fight me. When I was current world champion, them guys wouldn't fight me. Man, they were scared to death. They were scared. What I did to Corey Spinks, they all took notice. I remember when I fought Corey Spinks the first time, Floyd Mayweather was at the fight. Don King was talking to Floyd because I think Don was trying to get Floyd to fight Corey Spinks, thinking that Corey Spinks was going to win. So when I beat Corey Spinks, I saw Floyd, and I said, "What's up, Floyd?" And he gave me the hand like, "I ain't nothing up. I'm straight." Yeah, I know. The dog is coming, y'all. I'm unleashed, I'm telling you. 2014. Watch out.
2014 is the year of the K9.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Bite.
You're coming. I know. And, I want to, God, seriously, the lights are streaming on for K9 here, so I'm going to move on over to our panel host today. All right, Mike, you're up.
Hey, K9, I just want to congratulate you on the birth of your daughter and just tell you, buddy, you had 37 fights, but you ain't seen nothing yet. I got two daughters, 18 and 24, and I got news for you. You got a long road in front of you. First of all, I know about your career for a long time. I used to work for ESPN back in 2006 and 2007, right where you were involved in the Contender. So I got to meet you a few times. I got to watch you fight a few times. I'm very impressed with you. You know, one of the knocks against you is that you weren't the most technically sound fighter. You were just tough and you were strong. But I disagree with that, and I think you kind of got a raw deal against Ishii Smith.
Man,
I'll tell you what. The one thing I'll say to you, though, I want to say to you about the Ishii Smith fight, I thought you should have walked through that guy. I thought you let him get away with too much, and I'm a professional trainer. So when I watch that fight, I have to ask you this question. You know, why did you let him get away with some of the things he got away with? Because you're much better than that. Was there something going on in your life personally? Was there something going wrong with you physically? Because I didn't see the fighter that I know. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was physical. You know, I'm not one to make excuses, but in camp, I tore my bicep. So I was in camp. I couldn't hit the punching bag. I couldn't hit the speed bag, and I couldn't throw left hooks. I couldn't throw hard left hooks. I couldn't even shadow box. I just got in there and sparred because and opponents and sparring partners I was sparring was coming at me, so it was easy to spar with those guys. So when I fought Ishii with my left arm, my bicep being tore, I couldn't reach out. I couldn't reach out without my arm hurting. After the fight, I had to get a sling, but I didn't even put the sling on, but my arm was really messed up real bad. A minute to to rehab it.
It looked funny to me in the fight because it looked like you were limited, but there was no mention of it. I mean, did you say anything after the fight to anybody that you had this injury, or before the fight? Did anybody hint about it or anything? Or before the fight, obviously they're not going to say a thing. But I mean, after the fight, did you say anything after the fight? Because I didn't hear that.
No, I didn't. I didn't really say too much about it. People gonna look at it as just an excuse, but trust me, there was a lot of stuff going on, man. Floyd was disrespecting my wife. He was dancing behind her. Showtime didn't show that, but he was dancing behind my wife. He was running around, K9, you ain't this, you ain't that, talking to the judges. I was just, it was a lot going on. It wasn't just my arm. It was a lot of stuff going on, man, that just didn't go right. It was, like I said, I believe it was meant for him to get that belt at that time, because, God is a good guy. He knew I could handle it, and no telling what would have happened if he wouldn't have won that belt, because, he had some personal things that went on with him in his life. And so it was meant for him to get the belt. And as you see, just like a boomerang, it's coming right back to me. Why would I be about to fight for the belt again? You know what I mean? It's just, it's spiritual, man. It's spiritual, and, God bless him. I'm happy he became a world champion, even though it was on my dime, on my time, you know what I mean? But I learned from that fight. I know not to train as hard as I did for that fight, as far as wearing weight vests. And, man, I was running with weight vests on, Sherlin's on. I'm talking about, and I think the weight vest was pulling down on my arms. And I went to a lady to try to massage my arm to kind of, help it, and I think she made it worse. I should have just let my arm rest. When the main event, which was a guy named Karen Brooke and Alexander, was going to fight, they was going to fight in the main event. When the fight got canceled, I called my promoter, Golden Boy, and I asked him, I said, is the fight canceled or not? Because I really needed some time to let my arm heal or to get my arm back right. He said, no, the fight ain't canceled. You the main event now. And I was like, dang, you know what I'm saying? I was like, wow. And there wasn't nothing I could do. I couldn't pull out because I had got an advance. So
Well, whether you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, I don't care. You're a good role model. You're a good man, and you're a tough fighter. And the people in Philly love this kind of guy that you are. I love Detroit. I love Detroit fighters. I love going to Detroit. Me and my fighter are going to Detroit out in March to fight out there. And we love Detroit because everybody in Detroit comes to fight. Like Philly. You come to Philly, you're going to get somebody that's going to give you a fight. Now, Joey Hernandez, I want to talk to you about him. In his last 8 fights, he's undefeated. He's had 5 stoppages. He doesn't have a lot of big names on his resume, but that doesn't mean anything to me because my fighter doesn't have a lot of big names on his resume, and he likes to knock people out all the time. So my question to you is, you want to go in there and take care of business, and like the Prophet made a very profound point when he said to you, does this have to be done in a dramatic style for you? Because stand up to that man. You know what I mean? And do what a lot of people are afraid to do. So tell me what your plan is against Joey Hernandez if you want to let the cat out of the bag.
Just destroy him. My whole thing is destroy him. I mean, you never know how a fighter is training. You can watch them on tape, and they might do this and might do that, but they looking at you on tape, and they looking at what you're doing, so they're going to be training for you just like you're training for them. And, it's about adjusting. I'll be able to, whatever he come with, I'll be able to combat. I'll be able to do whatever he's doing, I'll be able to do it better. I'm just a better fighter, a hungrier fighter, a tougher fighter, a champion, a current champion, a former champion. I'm just going to do what I got to do to win, man. But I'm not going to just I'm not just going to win. I'm going to look good doing it. I mean, you're going to be able to see because in this training camp, I got the right trainers. I'm able to shadow box. In my last training camp, I couldn't shadow box. I couldn't get no rhythm or nothing because of my arm. I had messed my arm up. And, like I say, I'm not using that as no excuse. It's over with. I don't turn the page, and life goes on. But this time around, oh, my goodness.
Well, you go ahead and do business. I'm going to see you out at the Masonic Temple in March, hopefully when we come out there to fight, and maybe again at the Joe Louis Arena in June. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again, and I just want to wish you a lot of luck against Joey Hernandez. I love your attitude. You're cocky, but you're not a jerk. You know what I mean? No, you back it up. You back up your cockiness, but you know what? It's honest. You know what I mean? Like, look, I'm going in there to do what I got to do, and no comparisons at all to Adrian Broner. I wish you a lot of luck, buddy.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks. And look, I'm a little cocky, but I'm more confident and humble more than that. It's the fight game, and I can't sit there and say, well, I'm gonna go in there and I just hope to win, and I'll try my. No, I'm gonna win, and that's how you gotta. That's what you got to say, and that's how you got to be as a fighter. You got to let it. You got to let the cat out the bag. What would you say, basket or the bag? You got to let the cat out the bag.
Don't let the cat out of the bag. Exactly.
You got
you know
to,
what?
Right.
You
got to let the dog out the bag.
Don't let the dog. Yeah, well, you're okay, but you're the canine, so you are definitely going to get out of that bag. Don't let the cat out of the bag. But hold on, canine, because I don't want you to go yet, because we still have so many callers, and I'd love to be able to take a few, if you have a minute, just to answer a few questions.
Man, I got time. Put them all on. Put them all. This is our time. We ain't going nowhere.
All right, let's see who's here. You're on the phone with Canine. Are you there?
Hello?
Hello? Yes?
Hello?
You have a question for Canine?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize the phone was on. Hey, Canine, my name is Jody. I've been watching you fight. Pretty good. I've been watching you fight for a long time, and saw your fight with Ishe Smith, and I was actually in Vegas the week after that. Had a chance to talk with Ishe a little bit. I think I'd have to agree with the other assessment. That it was a close fight, but I think that the judges may have swung his way, because of the Floyd Mayweather influence and all that.
Exactly.
Are you looking at getting a rematch with Ishe Smith at some point? To set that record straight?
No. To me, I believe I won that fight, so I don't really see. It's not worth a rematch unless he's the champ. If he has the belt, then yeah. But other than that, I'm cool, man. I'm moving on. There ain't no money involved in that fight. And then it has to be a fight that I really feel like I lost. I mean, somebody, like when I fought against Saku Powell, I actually lost that fight. So I wanted that fight back. I wanted that fight bad, and I got that fight, and we fought, and, I was able to get him back. So, maybe one fighter, a guy named, can't think of his name. Well, that's how I be, though. Can't think of the guy's name that I done lost to because they in the review mirror.
You talking about that southpaw from New York? I can't remember his name right now either.
Yeah. No, I just said his name. Yeah, but we have moved on, man. We living in today. The Bible says, take care of today, because tomorrow he has its problems. And I don't worry about the past, man. I just move forward, man. You win some, you lose some. Everybody done lost before. Even when Floyd fought Castillo, he lost that fight, but they gave it to him. Nobody wins them all but God.
All right, Kane. I want to thank people for the calls because we're going to go quickly, so I don't want you to all think I'm rude when I disconnect you. But you have time for one question. I mean, because Canine is very popular here. So let's move on to. Let's see here. Let's move on to this caller. Hold on here. Let's see if we have another caller here. Caller, you're on the phone with K9. 671. Hello. You have a question for K9?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi. I can hear you.
This is Pat Kelly.
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
Back with me. I am blessed, and I can hear you blessed too, K9. I can hear you.
How you doing?
Just letting you know that Bosco's rooting for you. Yes Ministries is rooting for you, and God's in complete control.
Amen.
Complete control.
Amen.
And we miss you, so hurry up, flip that button, come on back.
All right, I'm gonna bring that belt back when I come back.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Thanks for calling, Pat. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
Jesus for life.
All right, we'll move on. Wow, look at you, K9. All right, we have 313-740. You are on the phone with K9.
What's up,
Are you
bro?
there?
I'm here.
Yeah, who it is?
This Reed. What's up,
Reed?
brother?
Reed, what's up, Reed? What's up, boy? You all right?
Oh, yeah, baby. You know I'm going to tap in on these phone lines. You know I've been watching you. You know, you my man. 12th Street, baby.
Right. Hey, I'm trying to get that work with Coco, man. Coco don't want no problems, though.
Oh, Coco don't want to get in there, you don't want no problems.
Oh, man, no, nobody want no problems, man. None of these cats.
Man.
They all scared. Canelo don't want no problems. They don't want no problems.
I already know, man.
Cotto don't want no problems.
He ain't want nothing when he was up
about
there.
my Cotto like that, K9. You're on the, you can't talk about my Cotto like that, okay? Between you, K9,
Well,
and Cotto, you're
I'm praying for you,
favorite.
bro. I'm praying for you because if Cotto wanted to get in the ring, he got in the ring at the Crunk Jump. But I'm praying for you that you keep your head up, keep your heart strong, and, hey, you know, the will of God always take us where we can't go. You know?
That's right.
So, hey,
that's right.
stick with the
that's
will.
Right. Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Thanks for calling, man. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. We're going to move on. All right. We're going to move on to our next caller. You are on Real Combat Media Boxing Radio with K9. This is 313-350. Are you there? Hello? I don't know. Maybe they're not there. Let's move on, K9. You still there with me, K9?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Well, all right. As we move down the list.
Yeah, a lot of people, they just quiet, you know. So.
They just want to hear you. All right. You have a question for K9? Oh, I hear myself. So if you have the computer on, turn it off.
It's got 60,000 miles on it.
Okay, they're being shy. They don't want to talk. Okay, let's move on down here to our next caller. This is 313-350. You're on with K9. Are you there? I think K9 people just want to hear your voice sometimes.
Yeah. See, a lot of my people in my city, you know, they don't bark, they bite, you know. So you know how it goes.
All right, are you there with K9? 313-826. Are you on the line? Oh, another one that just wants to hear your voice, K9.
Yeah, it is everybody. They want to hear what's going on. They're trying to figure out. Some of them probably don't know when I'm fighting and none of that. And then I told Christy got the best show in the city, in the town, in the world.
Hey, let's see, are you there on Real Combat Media Boxing Radio with K9? This is 734-286. They still just want to hear us, too. They just want to hear, okay, we're going to try one more and see if they want to have a question for you. All right, 810 area code. Are you there? 810-286. Are you there? You're on with K9.
What's up, champ?
Oh, what's happening? SB.
SB, baby. Hey, champ, who you want after you destroy Hernandez and get that belt back? Who you want to fight?
Man, you know who I want? I want the one that disrespected SB. I want Mayweather. That's what I want.
Look, go get him, champ. How you doing, Christy?
Oh, this is the wife, isn't it?
Yes. The manager of the year. That's the manager of the year.
She is
That's right.
Wonderful. She's on the Twitter. She's on it. Hi, I'm glad you called. It's nice to hear you.
Nice to hear you too, Christy. Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you, and congratulations on the beautiful little baby girl that I see pictures on Facebook.
Thank you.
Yeah, how you doing?
K9 going to take over in 2014. This man is working very hard. He's very motivated. He's hungry. Like he said before, he got the little baby, the newborn, Ariel. He got her for motivation. He's going to take over. So I hope everybody tune in January 24th. It's going to be explosive, epic night of boxing from K9, Team K9, K9 Promotion.
Yes.
Definitely. We will definitely be watching and, rooting, and the people bet. They're going to be betting on you. Because, like I said on the Twitter, too, and I mean it, K9 is one of my favorite fighters, not only because he can fight, but because of who he is, the kind of man he is. And that's what, and yeah, I mean, it's true. I have a 13-year-old. Who would I rather him look up to a K9 or to an Adrian Broner? Now, come on.
Right. I hear the violins playing. Violins playing. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Make me feel good. Juan, I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you are. You are, definitely.
Yeah.
You are.
Yep.
You two how is it working together, though? How does that work out?
She's you know what? She's not just the average wife. You got a lot of fighters, they let their wife be a manager, I guess, to keep her in the spotlight or whatever. She actually is a manager. I signed a contract with her. She's really a manager. She on her stuff. She puts things together. She calls promoters. She tell them yay or nay. I mean, she's doing her thing. She gets a percentage. I mean, she's a manager for real. She's my manager for real. We know when it's time to be husband and wife, and we know when it's time for business, and we don't mix business and pleasure together.
Well, that's smart. That's very smart, because I'm sure some managers and, what Shane Mosley, wasn't it Shane and his wife, she was the manager, and I don't think that turned out very well. So you guys are smart to keep it separate, that's for sure.
That's right.
And she gave me, and you know what? She's a good manager, because she gave me the best Christmas gift I can have, a little baby girl.
Oh, that was so sweet. I am so happy for you guys. And look at you. So don't forget, on January 24th, we will be watching K9 against Joey Hernandez at Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio, California. We will definitely. Now, when you beat Joey Hernandez, it's an eliminator. Does that mean it's a tournament, so you're going on?
No, after I beat him, I'll be fighting for my belt again. I'll be fighting for that IBF belt.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And y'all will be watching. Y'all will be watching K9. Y'all won't be watching nobody else but me. I mean, if you want to watch him, you can watch him, but you're gonna be ducking somewhere and grabbing the ropes and doing all kind of stuff. But you're gonna be watching me. I'm gonna be the only one doing something.
I'd only be tuning in to watch for you, of course. But yes, we will definitely be watching for you. And I want to thank you both for coming on, because it's a pleasure to get to meet your wife, and it's a pleasure to have you on the show as always. I mean, I haven't even gone to a commercial. It's been so exciting.
Right. And you know what? We like loving basketball. She be taking me to the hole. For real.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys are great. You are a great couple. You need to write a book next. After winning the belt, after the sneakers, then you can write your book together. Okay.
Right. And another thing too, Christy, before we drop the phone, Christy, I want you to know that I got my own promotions now too, K9 Promotions. So, we gonna either co-promote with somebody or we just promoting after this next fight.
That's right. So why don't you tell everyone, because I know you have a few different Twitters going on and Facebook. So why don't you tell everybody?
Yeah. K9 Boxing. Let my manager, SB.
Let me see if he's there. Okay.
Earn your money, girl. Earn your money.
Yeah, he has on Facebook. He has K9 Boxing, and Twitter. Twitter K9 Boxing. He has an Instagram K9 Boxing, and he has the K9 Promotions on Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all me. And it's all me too, y'all.
Yes, all K9.
Yeah. Do it myself.
It's all K9 and SB. Do we call you SB? Is that the nickname, or is that just your nickname for your wife?
I think it is. Not no.
SB, Christy, SB.
Well, that's good, because I was pronouncing your last name.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right, because I didn't eat nothing. Treasure today.
Right. I hear somebody. Is anybody hating?
I don't know what that is. That was very bizarre. All of a sudden, that popped in there. So, we're going to have to say goodbye to you, but it's been a pleasure as always, and we will be watching the fight on January 24th, definitely. Okay.
All right.
And
thank you.
Keep
me in prayer.
Sure, we'll
understand. Calling too.
I don't know what that is that we keep hearing. Well, thank you and SB, and enjoy your beautiful daughter, and we will talk to you soon. We're going to go to a commercial.
Thank you. God bless.
Thanks. That's my favorite part right there. All right, take care. We'll be right back after the commercial with John Scully, the Iceman.
This is Real Combat Media Radio. Check us out at realcombatmedia.com. While you're there, check out the Feed the Poor link on the bottom of every article, and you can send a donation if you're interested. That is, once again, on the bottom of every article as well as on the top of the website. If you are an MMA, boxing, or fitness business and interested in sponsoring our website or radio podcast, send us an email. Advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Once again, that is advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Make sure to check out the Real Combat Media MMA and boxing store at the top of the menu at realcombatmedia.com. We carry a collection of products. We have the Cardio Mask, which is excellent for all fighters, endurance athletes, and serious fitness enthusiasts. Once you are in the Real Combat Media store, click on the banner on that page. We also carry Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is a great and natural product which activates your brain's neurotransmitters and helps you think more clearly, which improves brain function. You can also purchase the world's healthiest plant protein, which comes from hemp. There are many other products online on the online store, and click on the On It banner at the Real Combat Media store, and you can purchase Alpha Brain and other health products. Use the discount code Real Combat Media, and you will receive 10% off at the checkout store on the On It. That is ONNIT on the banner at Real Combat Media store. Buckle up. Here we go. Let's get this show started.
Welcome back to Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. This is episode 39. I'm your host, Christy Rosario, here in Los Angeles. My co-host is Richard Solomon, the boxing prophet in New York City, and Mike Cassell, who's all the way in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Live callers, 347-324-5998. You can find us on Twitter at Real Combat Media. My Twitter is at BoxingGirl. And we have the Boxing Prophet 68 at the Boxing Prophet 68. And you can find us on Facebook at Real Combat Media in the search bar. Now, we have had quite a day, I'm just saying, talking to everybody, and it's been awesome with all the callers, with K9. And my co-host, I bet he feels like he's lost. Are you there, Prophet?
I'm here.
You're there. I'm glad. Okay, because we're going to come up in just a minute with Ice John Sully. We're going to get him on the line. But, first I want you guys to start talking a little bit. Well, I get the Iceman, so why don't you, and we'll get Mike over here back on. Let's get Mike on, and you guys can talk about a little bit about Prophet. You can start off talking a little bit about Leo Santa Cruz and Seda, okay? Why don't you talk about them, and then I'll get the Iceman on.
Yeah, I thought Leo Santa Cruz fought very well, dominated most of the action. Didn't throw as many punches as I thought he would, but Seda came to win. He wasn't just an opponent. I had Santa Cruz winning 9 rounds to 3, and now it seems that Santa Cruz will fight next. Up next for Santa Cruz is the undefeated Carl Frampton from the UK, who will pose a threat. He fights well. He's a promising prospect, and I think it'll be interesting. Unfortunately, the fight we really wanted to see, which I alluded to last week, Santa Cruz fighting Rigondeaux, isn't going to happen anytime soon because Rigondeaux is with Top Rank and Santa Cruz is promoted by Golden Boy. So I don't think you'll see that fight anytime soon. And we were discussing about how Santa Cruz throws a lot of punches, and he might actually pose a threat for Rigondeaux because of his enormous volume punching, which he didn't show that much against Sada, but he did his job. He won the fight. He's undefeated, and he's one of these guys. He's right up there as far as I'm concerned, not yet, but with the Triple G's and the Mighty Garcias, he's one of these guys who's like on the cusp of being a superstar in the sport of boxing today. And it's, on to bigger and better things for Leo Santa Cruz, and he's aesthetically a crowd-pleasing fighter, and he's very easy to root for. He always gives a good account of himself. You'll never see a boring Leo Santa Cruz fight. And I enjoyed that fight a great deal, even though he dominated, 9 out of the 12 rounds of my scorecard.
I liked Leo Santa Cruz, but I thought I gave it 8-4, and I agree with you. But remember, there was just a recent tweet by Oscar De La Hoya to Bob Arum at Top Rank, wishing him a happy holidays, and there's some softening between De La Hoya and Arum right now, which kind of leaves a door open for the possibility of Rigondeaux and Leo Santa Cruz. So I think that it could happen. And Bob Arum is a guy that talks a lot and he says a lot, and so is Richard Schaefer, Richard Schaefer just hates Bob Arum, and he said so many derogatory things. But in the end, Bob Arum is about money, and he's about making money. Let's not confuse that Bob Arum is this nice, kindly old grandfather who loves boxing. Bob is about money, and he understands that if there's a payday to be made with Rigondeaux, and Santa Cruz can bring out that tiger in Rigondeaux. But I was really impressed with Sada in that fight, Prophet. I wanted to ask you, in my opinion, I thought Sada really came to fight. He was a lot slicker than I thought he was. He was a lot faster than I thought he was. And I thought he made Santa Cruz look a little bit pedestrian. I mean, he looked great. He looked good in the fight. I won't say great. But, I mean, there were certain times where Sada really showed me something. I mean, what did you think about him as an opponent?
I completely agree with you. He took Santa Cruz off of his game. He moved a little bit. Sada came to win. He wasn't just an opponent. He only had that one loss to Navarez earlier on in his career, who I actually saw. He fought Nonito Donaire at the theater, Madison Square Garden, in kind of a bore fest, and Donaire won every second of every round in that fight. That was his only loss to the Argentinian fighter. But I thought Santa Cruz didn't throw as many punches as I thought, but it was more competitive. I had it 9-3, you had it 8-4. Sada came to win. He wasn't just an opponent. He fought well in spots, and it was an entertaining fight to watch. Santa Cruz, to me, is has a crowd-pleasing style, and I just hope you're right with the softening of the Cold War that's brewing. And we touched on this last week. How many fights did we wish we'd see, like Gamboa against Juan Manuel Lopez, and Bob Arum said, well, we have to let it marinate a little bit, and then Lopez wound up losing to Salido, so that fight never materialized. And Abner Morris was supposed to fight Nonito Donaire, and we know Abner Morris was upset by Johnny Gonzalez, so that fight, for all intended purposes, probably won't come to fruition. We just need Golden Boy and Top Rank to, put the fans first and make these dream fights that, under ordinary circumstances they should be made, but because of this war that's going on, the boxing fans, the hardcore boxing fans get chipped. So, we'll see. Like, from all accounts, I believe he's fighting Carl Frampton next, and Frampton's no walk in the park. He'll give Leo Santa Cruz probably a tougher fight than Sada. So if he can get by Frampton, then I don't see any reason why, except if the Cold War continues, that a Santa Cruz Rigondeaux fight doesn't happen like a year and a half down the line. And I think he'll give Rigondeaux a run for his money. He throws a lot of punches. He sort of reminds me of like a little Aaron Pryor back in the day, although Sada neutralized a lot of that. But, we'll see. I just hope that the fight materializes. It'll be great for boxing, and it'll prove once and for all if, Rigondeaux is the real deal, if he's as dominant a fighter as he seems to be.
Well, actually, Prophet, they are set up to have a Abner Mares, Johnny Gonzalez #2 in 2014. So that is going to happen. Abner Mares wouldn't let that go by. You really think so, Prophet?
No, well, Abner Morris is going to fight Johnny Gonzalez in the rematch. But what I was alluding to was that for years, boxing fans were clamoring for a Abner Morris against Nonito Donaire matchup, and it never happened because of the feud. And now that Johnny Gonzalez stopped Abner Morris, even if Morris wins the rematch, I don't think he's going to fight Donaire anytime soon. I don't think that fight will ever happen.
Well, you never know. Maybe someday we'll see a Mayweather and Pacquiao too, but who knows? Who knows? But you know what? We are going to move on because we have a great guest. I have to go back to commercial, and we're going to come back with our former professional fighter, boxing commentator, and current world-class trainer, John Scully, the Iceman, after this commercial.
This is Real Combat Media Radio. Check us out at realcombatmedia.com. While you're there, check out the Feed the Poor link on the bottom of every article, and you can send a donation if you're interested. That is, once again, on the bottom of every article as well as on the top of the website. If you are an MMA, boxing, or fitness business and interested in sponsoring our website or radio podcast, send us an email. Advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Once again, that is advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Make sure to check out the Real Combat Media MMA and boxing store at the top of the menu at realcombatmedia.com. We carry a collection of products. We have the Cardio Mask, which is excellent for all fighters, endurance athletes, and serious fitness enthusiasts. Once you are in the Real Combat Media store, click on the banner on that page. We also carry Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is a great and natural product which activates your brain's neurotransmitters and helps you think more clearly, which improves brain function. You can also purchase the world's healthiest plant protein, which comes from hemp. There are many other products online on the online store, and click on the On It banner at the Real Combat Media store, and you can purchase Alpha Brain and other health products. Use the discount code Real Combat Media, and you will receive 10% off at the checkout store on the On It. That is ONNIT on the banner at Real Combat Media store. Buckle up. Here we go. Let's get this show started.
Welcome back to Real Combat Media Boxing Radio. This is episode 39. I'm your host, Christy Rosario, in Los Angeles, with my co-host, Richard Solomon, the boxing prophet in New York City, and Mike Cassell, our panel host in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You can call us at 347-324-5998. You can Twitter us at Real Combat Media, or my Twitter is at BoxingGirl, BXINGIRL, or at Boxing Prophet 68 for the Boxing Prophet. You can find us on Facebook at Real Combat Media in the search bar. But now, here we are, coming up with our special guest, the Iceman, John Scully. How are you?
Everything's great. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for being so patient. We had a lot of conversation with K9.
Man, well, no, that's good. Like I was saying, it's at least we know he's got a lot of wind, so I know he's in good shape. He's a smart boxing guy. It's good talking, listening to him talk. Yeah.
Yes, he is a smart boxing guy. And now, what do you think about K9 and Joey Hernandez?
It's a tough fight for both guys. I haven't seen as much of Joey. I actually talked to Joey last year about maybe possibly training him for a while, but just the timing and everything just didn't work out. But I'll say this much: I mean, K9 he's not a stylist, obviously, or anything, but he's strong. But I'll tell you this much, and it means something. I remember Chad Dawson telling me at least 3 times it came up, and he said. K9 is the strongest guy he's been in the ring with, like pound for pound. He said K9 is just strong, and he kept like accentuating the word. He's like, he's strong. This guy is strong, And Chad's been there with some strong people, so for him to like really single out K9 tells you something about his actual physical strength and punching power. So even at his age, he seems to be the type of guy that keeps in great shape, and he's kind of like one of these guys, a young man mentally. So I think it's a good fight. It's a tough fight. It's kind of an under the radar fight, Twinkle Toes isn't like a big name yet, and I know he desperately wants to be. So it's definitely a fight to watch, but I think it's not going to get the play that maybe it deserves, because the names aren't super names right now.
Yeah, that's hard because K9, like I said before, he was looking forward to that fight with Cotto. He didn't get it, probably because, like you're saying, about the big names. And I think, you're a trainer. Doesn't that get frustrating after a while?
Well, I mean, you don't get the fights you want, or you don't get any fights, and you're a champion or a former champion, and they don't. It's a funny game. Like, you can be a world champion and be considered the 7th best guy in the weight class. The way this boxing game works these days, just being a champion isn't enough. You have to have a name. You can't just be a champion and get a fight with Floyd Mayweather. You have to have this name. You're in the sweepstakes as a champion. All being a champion is getting you closer to the big fight. If you're a heavyweight champion, it's like, okay, well, I get to fight one of the Klitschko's now. If you're a welterweight or a junior middleweight, I get to fight Floyd. So it's kind of a messed up thing in the way it works. And champions, they don't necessarily get their due. They get overshadowed, and so it's definitely a frustrating business, especially if you're a champion or a former champion and people don't perceive you as one.
Yeah, well, I think we're seeing that with the possible fight with Amir Khan and Mayweather. I mean, Amir Khan is huge in the UK, so it's going to bring in tons of money. I mean, is this the fight you'd like to see, or are there other fighters you'd like to see Mayweather fight?
Yeah, I don't. Nothing. I mean, if you know me, you know that I don't like to down talk fighters or insult fighters. That's not my thing at all. I know what it is to be a fighter. But just from a business, from the standpoint of boxing, just as a purist, I'm not that interested in it because, he's been stopped a couple times by guys nowhere near Mayweather's level, and that doesn't mean even that Mayweather will stop him. Just because you beat one guy or lose to one guy, it doesn't mean you're going to lose the same way to another guy. But I just feel like if the game is run as a sweepstakes the way it has been, there's other guys that deserve it more. But it just goes to show you that the money talks. I mean, he is a good fighter, but the revenue he brings in, and he's got that whole country behind him. So it's it's like a business kind of fight. I'm not particularly interested in it personally. I'd be more, interested in seeing Mayweather in with a couple different guys. But it is a fight. I mean, it's going to draw a lot of attention, but I think it's happening a little too late in terms of making it a super fight anywhere but England.
Right. Well, let me ask you then, because Marcos Maidana, who just obviously really beat Adrian Broner, has been quoted in saying that the only one he will come back here for to fight is Floyd Mayweather. How do you see that fight? You think that would be a good fight you'd like to see?
Sure. There's a lot of fights that are interesting, but I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan. I really respect his game, and I just like I said the other day, I had a quote up, and I was saying, what, Maidana's the man of the hour. He's the man. He did it. He deserves all the accolades, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But let's not forget, Floyd is still the man, regardless. It's a great win and everything, but Floyd Mayweather is still Floyd Mayweather. Floyd's not winning close fights, competitive. They're not really, you can't really even say competitive so much. Even in the Cotto fight, even when Floyd was in more distress than people have ever seen him in, even against the ropes, never at any time did I feel like he was in real trouble. I never felt like he was in a hole that he wasn't going to dig himself out of. He's still Floyd. Nobody, in my opinion, nobody's beating him right now. If anybody beats Floyd Mayweather, it's going to be a huge upset. And I'd be curious to see him fight a lot of guys, but I don't think any of them are going to beat him.
Okay. Well, you're not training Chad Dawson. We all know that. people have known that for a little while now after the Andre Ward fight. Now, who would you say is the best 175-pounder?
You know, I gotta go with Kovalev. This guy, he's amazing. You know, he's in every area in terms of his attitude. Just he wants to fight. He doesn't worry about anything. He just wants to fight everybody. I believe he would fight everybody. He brings the fight. He's got, you know, crazy power. You know, I think he's I think he's really rugged and really rough, and I think he's the guy. I mean, it's crazy. He's not a big name yet, even, you know, because he's you know, I'm not even sure if he speaks English, you know, but he hasn't been really marketed extremely well. I think most boxing fans, even the ones that have started to hear of him, I think if they were to see him on the street, I don't think they'd even know who he was. You know, obviously they would know Hopkins first, and I think Hopkins is a problem for him. But just overall, I think, you know, marketing aside and fame and everything aside, I would say if there's one guy, out of all the light heavyweights, if there was one guy who I'd say, all right, I really am not in a hurry to have my guy fight him, it would be Kovalev.
Right. Well, Kovalev, you know, when we saw him against Silica, he can speak a little bit. He's pretty charming, and like you said, he's just, whew, he is. He's a great fighter. I agree on that one. I'd like to see more of him. But I want to ask you about you. Now, do you like to go, what should I call you? Iceman, Scully, John? What do you like to go by?
You know what? Even my wife calls me Ice. It's funny. Like, it's kind of a crazy thing. Since I've been boxing, you know, for years, there's people that I've known for 20 years that I can honestly say they've never, and I'm talking never, have called me by my first name. Never. Not once. Never. I have a kid I train, Sammy Vega. I've trained him since, next year it'll be 20 years since I've started training him when he was a kid, and we're still great friends. I'm you know, I was the best man at his wedding and everything, and he's never, and once in 20 years, called me John. Never. So most people call me Ice or Iceman, that type of thing. I don't get John too often, to be honest with you.
Okay. You know what's funny is I was watching a video of, I believe it was Sammy Vega in Lake Placid in 1998, and it was the funniest video. Do you remember that one?
When he was interviewing me. When he interviewed me, like, outside that was Sammy. That was him, yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, we were making
he was
fun of
a young man. Wow, 20 years.
Yeah. Well, we were that was the one I was doing like a mock interview with a kid Stanley, who I had Stanley. I did like a kind of like an African accent because you know, the kid always says, you know, I joke around with the kid, yeah, and then we always used to tease this kid and say he looked like a big strong African. So I used to be like, Stanley, come here. You know,
you did, the Lions.
Yeah. I said I was talking about the Spears. Yeah, we have you know, the kids, they grow up. You know, it is, the kids are in the boxing, and we go to the nationals, and I realized long ago that the majority of the fighters at the nationals are never going to be pro. They're certainly not going to be world champions. Most of them aren't even going to box much longer than when you see them at that tournament. So, you know, we kind of have fun and we joke around and you know, give them a little something extra to remember. So yeah, I believe that was 1998 at the Lake Placid. It was Lake Placid. That was at the Olympic Training Center. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, but that was Sammy. Sammy actually won it that year. He was number one in the country at that time in the Junior Olympics. He was one of the top kids in the country. Yeah, and he you know, now he's actually in Hartford. He works for a law firm, and he's doing extremely well. So, and he never called me John in his life.
No more boxing for Sammy?
No, Sammy's like 30. What is he? He's like 32, 33 now. He actually made a comeback in 2006 because he always wanted to win the Golden Gloves. And when he came back after a 6-year layoff, and he won the Golden Gloves, and then he retired again and hasn't boxed since. Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, and I really like what you said about, you know, when these guys and women, the guys and girls, get to the nationals, you know, that may be the only time they're in the spotlight, and people forget that. That's why officials and judges and everyone has to take them so serious, because this could be their only moment, you know?
Right. Oh, yeah. To make a national tournament is a unique thing. A lot of kids make the nationals, but more than most don't ever make a national tournament. Most boxers don't advance that far. They don't get to experience that. And so that's always been my motto, especially for the younger kids, the junior Olympic kids. I try to make them have fun. And you know, as a junior, as a coach, you know, I was a coach all during my career. And, I mean, I could write a book just on I saw Ricardo Williams, Anthony and Andre Durrell, DeMarcus Corley, Brian Valori. I saw all these guys when they were, Chad Dawson, all of them when they were kids. Andre Ward. I was there when Andre Ward lost for the last time when he was, I think, 13. So, you know, you try to make those trips fun, because the fact of the matter is, you hear about a lot of kids that come out of those programs and become world champions, but the majority of them never even advance much farther than that point as boxers. So I try to make it fun for them and give them some memories.
Oh, you know, that is really nice, because, you know, I go to the nationals and I referee and judge, and, you know, it's very important for these guys, so I appreciate hearing that. And, you know, I want to ask you also, I was, you know, because I was looking at stuff. I mean, I've seen you on Facebook. I think we've chatted a little bit, but I don't know a whole bunch about you. So I really wanted to get to know you. And I was watching a video of Archie Moore introduce you and have you come up. And now I was like, wow. I mean, that's all I can say. And all the comments were like, wow, this is amazing. Archie Moore was your trainer.
Archie Moore was a good friend of mine. He ordained himself. He called it my advisor through the mail, because he lived in California. It's really a great story. I'll tell you, back in the day when I was a kid, Ring Magazine had a section, a page, every issue called Veteran Boxers Beat. And what they would do is they would revisit some former champions, and they would tell you where they lived, and sometimes they'd give you their address. So I was 15 years old, and I wrote, they put Archie Moore's home address in the magazine. So I wrote to him. So, you know, can I have your autograph? So he wrote me back, and as luck would have it, he wrote me back literally within 2 weeks of my first fight ever, the first fight I ever had, 1983. He wrote to me. So when he wrote to me, I wrote back, and I said, you're not going to believe it, I just won my first fight, blah, blah, blah. So he writes me back, and he tells me, okay, listen, I'm going to be your advisor. I'm going to tell you how to box through the mail. And we kept each other in touch until he passed away 15 years later. He came to my Archie Moore used to call my house, and if I wasn't home, he would talk to my mother and find out how I'm doing in school and how am I doing at home, am I acting up, am I training hard, and then I met him a couple of times, and there was that one time when he called me up unexpectedly to the podium at a big boxing dinner, and it's on YouTube, and it was pretty amazing. And I actually have a great capital G Archie Moore story that I'm not gonna. It's in my book. I'll just tell you that it's in my book. It is it's a once in a lifetime story. It's in my book. You're gonna hear about it. It's pretty good. But Archie was the man. I actually talked to her quite a bit. She's on Facebook too, and you know, I've never even met her, but she considers me like a brother because of the way her father talked about me and wrote to me and kept in touch with me over the years.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's wonderful. And, you know, you had said, well, I'm going to quote you, and I hope I'm saying it right, that, you know, Archie Moore really, I mean, I can't believe you just knew each other pretty much over the phone, but that what he said to you once was treat your body as a champion should, because you will have this one until death calls you home, and that you live with that. You live by that. Is that true?
Oh, listen, I I have literally a stack of letters in a special case that I keep. He wrote to me all the time. I have all kinds of letters from him, handwritten. He would handwrite me letters, and I tell you, formerly he was an uneducated man. He probably went to the third grade. I'm guessing fourth grade. But I've never met someone as deep and interesting and mentally just intellectual on life as that guy. And that quote that was from a letter he wrote me. That's how he talked. That's how he wrote. That's how he talked. This guy had no education. He educated himself, and he talked like he was talking with poetry. And I actually I believe my writing has been inspired by him. Just he had sort of a mystical way of talking, and it definitely rubbed off on me over the years for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and to know that he was like the knockout king. He was just spectacular fighter, and that he was like a poet. And you hear a whole other side, and you have to tell us, what is the name of your book, and when will it be? When can we read it?
Well, it's called The Iceman Diaries, and the reason it's called The Iceman Diaries is because literally since I was a kid, I've kept diaries of my boxing career. I'm talking about sparring. Like, I could tell you how many rounds I sparred in 1984. I have it all written down. Every sparring session I've ever done is written down. I can tell you who I sparred, where it was, how many rounds we did, everything, and what date it was. And so I keep track of everything in my boxing career through notebooks and diaries. So basically I write my autobiography based on that and based on things I've seen, people I've seen. Because you're in the game. You've seen the amateur game. I've seen Roy Jones when he was a kid fight Gerald McClellan at the Nationals. There was probably, realistically, there was probably less than 200 people there, and I've never seen a video of it. So there's probably less than 200 people on the planet Earth that can say they were there when Roy Jones and Gerald McClellan fought each other, and it was a heck of a fight. It was one of the best amateur fights I've ever seen. So I write about that, and I write about my bigger fights with the names that people would want to hear about, Henry Maskey, Michael Nunn, fights like that, and sparring with Roy Jones, James Toney. So I kind of give a fighter's insight into the boxing game that you really can't get anywhere. And I'll tell you, just to give you an idea, I've read a lot of books, autobiographies on athletes, not just boxers, but Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio. And one thing, they all, and I'm talking all of them, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, they all have one thing in common. They didn't write the book. Even if those are autobiographies, they didn't write it. And you can tell they didn't write it. You can read one page of Mike Tyson's autobiography and you know he didn't write it. The thing with mine is every word is mine. I will not let them edit it. They can edit it for grammar. They can edit it for, punctuation. But as far as the content and my wording, that's all me. For better or worse, it's going to be my book. I'm not going to let them chop it up the way they do others. Because I've read articles and interviews and books, and halfway through I always say to myself, I know this guy didn't write that. Like, I know he doesn't talk. I've heard 100 interviews with him. I know he doesn't talk like that. So I want people to have a real insight that they can feel like they're talking, like I'm talking to them.
It's interesting because Al Bernstein was on our show recently, and he wrote a book, and he said the same thing. He says, I could be have a ghostwriter. I could sit there and drink martinis and tell someone my story, but this book is all me. So you and Al Bernstein.
That's cool. Oh, that's
yes.
good.
No,
that's really good. Yeah, because I hate it. I hate it. You read a book and guys are using words, and I'm like, the guy doesn't even know what that word means. He didn't say it. I know he didn't. I know he didn't say that. And I got a taste of that when I was a kid. My first taste. I did an interview one time with a newspaper. I was only like 16, and this guy wrote. He attributed a quote to me, and I'm saying to myself, I would never say that what he said, I said. I would never say that in a million years. Never. No way, no how. And everybody reading it knows I wouldn't say that. And that's when I realized that everything you read isn't necessarily exactly accurate. So I want it to be mine 100%.
You're very smart. Yeah, I was put in a book, and it was this person's book. A book of collections of women that have boxed and wrote about me and misquoted me, and it's very frustrating. Because you can't go back and take it out because it's their book.
Right.
So I agree. You're smart that you did that. Very smart. Now, tell me, Ice, what happened to the Lion's Den? You're not there anymore, right? You're in Florida?
Right, yeah. Actually, believe it or not, it's always a story. The guy that owned the gym, I worked there for the final, literally, 7 or 8 weeks that I worked there. I wasn't paid, and I never did get paid because, and he swore this wasn't happening, but he went to prison for tax evasion, and the FBI came in and put locks on the door and shut us out, and so I worked for 7 weeks, didn't get paid, and then all of a sudden one day he was gone, and the doors were locked, and and I was actually going to move anyway. That's not why I moved, but that's what happened, and so we just kept training at another gym, and until it was time for me to move, and now I'm down in Florida.
Wow, you have some good stories. You know that. All these stories need to go in another book now. Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Your book, I was remiss to ask you this. Your book, I looked for it. It's not out yet, is it?
Right, no, I have not. It's basically, to be honest with you, it's finished. It's being basically edited by me first, and then I'll pay to have it officially edited. But to be honest with you, because I'm doing it on my own, I'm doing it on my own time, and with the fights, with all the boxing that I've been doing and the traveling and just everything combined, it's been hard to really focus for an extended period of time to get it done. So I'm just basically now looking for the time to actually finish it. And what I'll do is, what I'm lucky, we live in this mass media age, is I'm lucky because I don't need a publisher, so to speak, because I don't need help reaching my audience, because the fact of the matter is I have, on my 2 Facebook pages, I have close to 8,000 friends that all of them like boxing. They all know about boxing, and between that and friends I have in the media, as soon as it's finished, if FightNews.com or MaxBoxing.com, if any 2 or 3 of those do a story on it, instantly within the span of 24 hours, basically every boxing fan on earth is going to know about the book. So I really don't need help with a publisher. So that's good for me because, as most people know from TLC's story with the music, the artist doesn't usually get all the money or even close to the majority of it. And, I'm going to make it so that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, that's smart. And what, you were talking about the media. What happened with you as an ESPN analyst? I was listening to you, and you sounded very good. And I hear you now, and you're very, literate and articulate. Yeah. What happened with that?
Thanks. Basically what we did was we did about 35 fights, and they basically keep recycling them. I don't know if they're ever going to come and do another series or what, but we did a whole bunch of fights, and they just keep basically using them over and over. I think it's time for a change. I mean, we've seen Camacho and Mancini and Camacho and Hogan like 500 times already. I'd like to see them maybe have us do some new shows, new fights. But for now, they're just basically using the ones we already did.
Oh, so this was for the classic boxing series, wasn't it?
Right, exactly.
Right. Well, I think it's interesting. I'd love to see more and hear more of you. Well, let me, I'm hogging you to myself, so I want to ask my co-host, the Boxing Prophet, if he has anything. I'm sure he does. What would you like to say to Ice?
Sure. Welcome to the show, Iceman. I followed your career ever since you were an amateur back in the 80s, and I remember your 2 huge victories over Lamar Parks, who wound up being a number 1 contender in the middleweight division.
Oh, yeah. Wow, you really know your stuff.
Yeah, I followed your career, and you know, when you think of Connecticut boxing, you think of Iceman John Scully, and I want to congratulate you because back in November of 2010, you were indeed inducted into the Connecticut Boxing Hall of Fame, so that must have been huge for you.
Oh, yeah, that was, you know what, honestly, like I when I started boxing, the guys in Connecticut, just in Hartford, but in Connecticut were heroes. You know, we had Troy Wortham and Tyrone Booz and Marlon Starling, and we had Willie Pep that led the way from years past. So my whole thing was I just wanted to be recognized in Connecticut. You know what I mean? Like the world was big and the country was big, you know, maybe out of my reach at that time. So I wanted to conquer Connecticut first. So to end up in its Hall of Fame with all those guys that I always looked up to was really special. Yes, definitely.
And I also admire your work, obviously, as a trainer. And you don't train Chad Dawson anymore, but watching you work his corner in the Hopkins rematch was, to me, reminiscent of how Angelo Dundee willed Sugar Ray Leonard to victory over Thomas Hearns, and Teddy Atlas willed Michael Mora to victory in his first fight against Evander Holyfield. It seemed that Dawson should have won the fight easier than he did, but he seems to shut down mentally every now and then. And you were in the corner screaming at him and giving him instructions. What do you take out of that?
You know, I'm honored and I'm really happy that you caught that, because I've always said to myself internally that performance on, you know, for myself, my performance in the corner of the Hopkins fight was definitely one of my biggest accomplishments as a boxing person, and I think kind of it went under the radar. A lot of people don't really pay attention to the corner as much as they should, or they're watching it in a sports bar and they can't hear. But I remember specifically that Chad, well, two things happened. One is that we initially planned to box Hopkins to start out. So I always tell Chad, we're going to start out boxing and see if you can succeed with that, because you have all these physical gifts. And I thought he was winning early on, but I thought that Hopkins was showing me little subtle things, that he was closing the gap a little bit. He was making Chad lead when he wasn't comfortable doing it. Different little things, and I told Chad after about maybe the third or fourth round, I said, listen, we got to switch this up. We have to flip this, because it's going to be too close. The way the fight is going, you're going to be winning, but it's going to be too close. It's going to be controversial. I said, we have to establish ourselves, because this guy's plotting and he's planning and he's setting you up for different. I'm not sure what exactly yet, but he's plotting too much. You're giving him too much time. And so we flipped it. We pressed it more. And then about halfway through, around the sixth or seventh round, I noticed what people were saying in other fights, that Chad started to show me little signs of drifting off and getting complacent. And, you know, and that's where a cornerman really, you know, sometimes a guy will go through a whole fight and he'll never really earn his money as a trainer. You know, the fight goes smoothly, but in those moments, I felt like I needed to reel him back in. I thought we were kind of losing him a little bit, and I was able to do it. And I thought from the eighth or ninth round on, I thought Chad kind of sealed it and kind of ran away with the fight from that point on. So there was a pivotal moment there, two pivotal moments in that fight that I, you know, I'm proud of myself. I thought I responded pretty well.
As you should be, and it just goes to show that it's very important to have a great trainer in your corner. One more question from me, and then I'll throw it back to Christy. I remember it like it was yesterday. Back in '95, I was rooting for you. You fought Michael Nunn for the WBO super middleweight title, and I actually thought it was very, very close. But the judges seemed to give, you know, Michael Nunn the benefit of the doubt, and you know he got the decision victory. And you know, Michael Nunn had a great career until until James Toney. There was even talks about him maybe facing Sugar Ray Leonard one day, but then you know James Toney sort of ended that discussion. What do you remember most about the fight with Michael Nunn? Because I thought it was very, very deceptively close.
Oh yeah, I felt like a lot of the fights, I felt like I was winning because he wasn't hitting me. My hands were up high. My defense was good. He never even remotely fazed me physically or mentally. I thought I landed the better shots. I thought I heard him. I definitely heard him. I remember hearing Al Bernstein behind me talking about how I had just heard him with a right hand. And I thought I was very effective. But he was busy. That's the thing that Michael did good, was he was busy. I think he realized, and he actually told me after the fight that he knew right from the first round, he could tell that he wasn't going to be able to hurt me because, I just had that attitude that night, and I was very tough, and he just felt like, he said I was like a rock, and he felt like he couldn't hurt me. So he was busy. He was very busy, which I have to give him credit for. And, he made people see that. He was flashy with it. I'm glad that people like you, I have a lot of people that, even if they didn't think I won, or even if they think I got robbed badly, just it feels good that they remember the fight, and they like that it was very close, and that they remember the good things I did. So that's an honor. I appreciate even being remembered in that way.
All right. Well, let's give Mike a chance. Mike, you still there?
I'm still here. I'm listening. I'm enjoying the show.
Oh, good. Well, you're on.
Well, I know John, and he's a great guy, and I often call John and talk to him and get some advice from him. I think he's one of the best trainers in the country by far. Fantastic trainer, and also, embarrassingly, I thought I was a boxing historian until I actually have conversations with John Scully. He makes me feel really bad about myself as a boxing historian. I mean, but John, I've interviewed John many times, John, but I have to ask you this question, and because Christy brought it up, and I thought it was such a great thing. Archie Moore, Archibald Lee Wright, he started boxing, I think, in 1935 or something, or 32. He finished boxing in 1963. He had a tremendous career. Who else in your life, John, besides Archie Moore, I mean, that you personally knew, who else had such a dramatic effect on your boxing career besides Archie? There were guys probably in your career that you worked with, or that you had day-to-day, conversations with.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you a funny thing. When I was a kid, I thought, I'm never going to meet anybody famous. It's crazy. Like, I'm never going to know anybody famous. And I would hear stories about somebody met somebody famous, and I was like, wow, it must be amazing meeting a famous person. The first person I ever met, I went right to the top. The first two people I met them on the same day. The first two people I met that were famous, Willie Pep and Muhammad Ali. Those are my first two. I mean, so I was 15 years old, and, Willie was from my area, Hartford, and believe it or not, we actually got to be friends so much that I was a pallbearer at his funeral in 2006, I believe it was. I was a pallbearer at Willie Pep's funeral, and he used to come see me fight. Believe it or not, it's kind of crazy. He used to come see me fight. And I remember one time there was a fight coming, and he mentioned he was going to go, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm trying to sell him on the fight. I'm like, oh yeah, we got this guy fighting and that guy, and I'll never forget. It was so crazy. He stops me and he goes, listen. He goes, with all due respect to those guys, I'm coming to see you. I just want to see you. And wow. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is Willie Pep. It's so crazy. And another time I actually took him to the airport. He was going out to an Oscar De La Hoya fight. And I'll tell you how a great fighter he was. Like, he's going out. They brought him out to a De La Hoya fight. You might remember this, where they were bringing him out as like a guest of De La Hoya, to give De La Hoya boxing wisdom, to be more of a boxer. I don't know if you remember that fight. But so I bring him to the airport. So he asked me about De La Hoya, and I'm like, well, he's like a strong guy, and he can hit hard. And he goes, well, if he's a strong guy, that's not really my thing. And I realized he didn't even know who Oscar was. He had no idea who Oscar was. He had no clue. And I realized at that moment, I say, you know what? When you're as great as Willie Pep, you don't see it. Like you're watching these guys. Like I remember him saying he liked Pernell Whitaker, but he didn't know Oscar. He didn't know who Oscar was, and I realized, like, when you're that great, guys aren't impressing you the way they're impressing other people. You know what I mean? And so I just think he watched a lot of fights, and he wasn't interested. And after a couple rounds, he just turned it off because he didn't see that superstar skill set like he had, like Ray Robinson, like his friends had. You know what I mean? So that always kind of stuck with me, that he didn't know who Oscar was. He had no idea.
Yeah, the one thing I got from Willie, and I did get to speak with him before he passed in like 2001, and his son, Billy. The one thing I got from Willie was that he kind of was out of touch with boxing in the sense that, he didn't think much of a lot of guys. So the fact that he thought a lot of you is a tremendous amount of respect being paid to you, because he didn't think a lot, of the guys who were out there. It was funny. That's the way he was, John, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. Like I say, he was pretty clueless about a lot of fighters. You'd be surprised, And, I mean, think about it. At that time, Oscar was the man, and he, after a minute of talking to him, like, he has no idea who Oscar is. He doesn't even know who he is. And he goes, I don't know. Like, I go, so what are they going to have you do exactly? And he's like, I don't know. They're going to have me, I don't know. They want me to show this kid some moves, I guess. Like, and it was just so funny, and I thought it was amusing that a man could be that great that, he didn't know who the best fighters in the world were because he didn't see them as being, what he was, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really get into it too much with him, but I just thought it was amusing, but I will say that, I tell you another one, he really liked Buddy McGirt. He thought Buddy McGirt was a good fighter. He liked Buddy's subtle skills. I do remember that.
Well, I know the one thing about Willie Pep that he always said, I'm never afraid of anybody who's bigger, stronger, or faster. I was always afraid of somebody that could outwork me, and nobody will outwork me. He always, thought he had the best conditioning of anybody. He was like the greatest. Yeah. John, when I look at your career, and I started boxing about 2 years before you, and I heard about you a lot, when I was in the amateurs, because you were kind of an amateur star in a sense on the East Coast. People knew who you were. And, I remember you telling me, when you were a kid, you were jumping up and down on your bed, throwing ketchup on your face, pretending to be in fights. You told me these stories. Yeah. I mean, through your whole life and all the experience that you have, I cannot wait to read the Iceman Diaries. I don't think I can really articulate to people the kind of stories that you're going to be able to tell, especially boxing people who really know what you're who you're talking about. It's going to be amazing to really to read these actual diaries of your life and these memoirs of where you've been and what you've done and the names. But I mean, who haven't you met that you've always wanted to meet in boxing? You probably met everybody, but who's the one guy or the one gal, who's the one person that you said to yourself, man, I've always wanted to meet that person, and I've never had an opportunity to talk to him?
Man, you know what? Honestly, I've met them all. Like I really, like I could honestly say maybe I tell you, come to think of it, maybe Arguello, Alexis Arguello. I would have liked to meet him and talk to him, but it's amusing to me. I'll tell you a funny thing. Like I'll name drop a little bit here, just for the show, just for what you're asking me. But when I was a kid, I grew up in that era of ABC, NBC, and CBS fights every weekend. It's like you're watching Jeff Chandler, you're watching Davey Moore, Wilfred Sippian, Curtis Parker, Don Lee, Mark Taylor, Buster Drayton, every weekend. You remember, every weekend. Boxing fans today have no idea what it was like in 1979, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84.
Yep.
I mean, it's if you explain it to people, they won't believe you. Because if you tell them what fights you watched every Saturday and Sunday at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon during the day, Mancini and Arguello, Curry and Starling, I mean, Larry Holmes, Tommy Hearns, I mean, it's just insane. And the amazing thing is not all, but I'm saying a lot of those guys that I watched back then, I've managed to become friends with them now. Like I have these guys in my phone. They call me, hey, what's up, man? What are you doing? Did you see that fight? All right, look at I'll call you tomorrow. And I'm like, you'll call me tomorrow? And I hang up, and these guys are friends, and I'm just like, this guy's calling me tomorrow. Like he wants to talk to me tomorrow. And when I was 15 years old, I used to idolize this guy. And I'll tell you a quick story. Do I have time to tell you a quick story?
Sure.
In a minute?
Yeah.
Okay.
A quick story.
Okay, real quick. Look at like Milton McCrory. When I was a kid, I followed Milt McCrory. I really liked his style, and I actually won the Golden Gloves one year, imitating him when he fought Colin Jones, a style that he used in the last round. And I actually won the Golden Gloves tournament imitating Milt McCrory, and that was literally 30 years ago. That was May of '83. Now, 30 years later, me and Milt McCrory are good friends. Like I talk to him all the time. I've told him that story many times, and we laugh about it. So it's boxing. You've heard that old expression, comedy, and they go, boxing's been very, very good to me, and that's how I feel. Boxing's been very good to me.
Appreciate you taking the time.
I don't think he heard you. Say it again, Mike.
No, I just said thanks, John. I mean, I always enjoy talking to John Scully. I mean, he's one of the best, no doubt.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me. It's an honor to be on the show, and I'm putting you guys in my book. I'm giving you a shout out in my media section, so you're in the book.
For Real Combat Media Boxing Radio, I hope. No, it's been great. We could actually talk to you for a couple of hours. I can tell. Unfortunately, we have to go, but I have to go to a commercial. But thank you very much, and I hope we can talk to you again soon when your the Iceman Diaries comes out.
Yes, all right. I appreciate it. I'll let you know when it's finished.
Definitely. Do you have any shout out, or you want to talk about your Twitter or anything before you go? Your Facebook?
Well, I have two Facebooks. One you can't get me on. There's too many friends, and they block you, I guess. But John the Boxer Scully, and the Boxer is one word. It's connected. So John the Boxer Scully. I recommend, if you like boxing, friend request me on Facebook, and I put up a lot of pictures. I get a lot of discussions going, and it's a pretty hot page for boxing fans. So I encourage people to look me up on there.
Yeah, I can attest to that. It's great. And what about your Twitter? Do we want people to tweet you?
Yeah. I guess it's just Iceman John Scully at Twitter. Yeah, I'm catching on to that too pretty good. And but Facebook is like my mainstay. That's my main thing.
That's mine too. I've had a hard time transitioning to Twitter. It's funny. Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you, and we'll look out for the Iceman Diaries.
Thank you. I'll see you guys later, all right?
All right. Thank you. Take care. We'll be right back with more Good night. After the commercial.
This is Real Combat Media Radio. Check us out at realcombatmedia.com. While you're there, check out the Feed the Poor link on the bottom of every article, and you can send a donation if you're interested. That is, once again, on the bottom of every article as well as on the top of the website. If you are an MMA, boxing, or fitness business and interested in sponsoring our website or radio podcast, send us an email. Advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Once again, that is advertising at realcombatmedia.com. Make sure to check out the Real Combat Media MMA and boxing store at the top of the menu at realcombatmedia.com. We carry a collection of products. We have the Cardio Mask, which is excellent for all fighters, endurance athletes, and serious fitness enthusiasts. Once you are in the Real Combat Media store, click on the banner on that page. We also carry Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain is a great and natural product which activates your brain's neurotransmitters and helps you think more clearly, which improves brain function. You can also purchase the world's healthiest plant protein, which comes from hemp. There are many other products online on the online store, and click on the On It banner at the Real Combat Media store, and you can purchase Alpha Brain and other health products. Use the discount code Real Combat Media, and you will receive 10% off at the checkout store on the On It. That is ONNIT on the banner at Real Combat Media store. Buckle up. Here we go. Let's get this show started.
Welcome back to Real Combat Media Boxing Radio, episode 39. I'm your host, Christy Rosario in Los Angeles. with my co-host, the boxing prophet, Richard Solomon in New York, and Mike Cassell all the way in Philadelphia. You can call us. Well, we're almost out of time, so you can't call us today. But you can Twitter us at Real Combat Media, or mine is at Boxing Girl, BXINGIRL, and at Boxing Prophet 68. And Mike, I'm sorry, I need to write down your Twitter. What is it again?
It is Fighting City 1 on Twitter.
Fighting City 1, the number 1, right?
You got it.
Awesome. Well, we have had, amazing guests and calls today, which has been a lot of fun. It's been a little crazy, but it's fun because we only have 10 minutes to talk about Keith Thurman and Jesus Soto Karass and Maidana and Broner. This is crazy. So, real quick, as you know, Keith Thurman, unfortunately, because I like Jesus Soto Karass, he TKO'd him in the 9th round. One time Keith Thurman did it again with now a wonderful, perfect record of 22 wins, 20 KOs. He has a loss, no draws, and he is quite the amazing. I remember him as an amateur. Prophet, why don't you give us, remember, we have very little time, so you're going to have to give us a little synopsis of the fight in your eyes.
Yeah, Keith Thurman actually got hurt by Jesus Soto Karass early in the first round, and I thought to myself, we may have another upset on our hands, but I like the way Keith Thurman adjusted. There's no need to brawl with a brawler. You can outbox him and slug in spots, and that's what Keith Thurman did. He fought brilliantly. It was an excellent technical performance. He wound up knocking out Jesus Soto Karass in an electrifying performance. And I think next, Robert the Ghost Guerrero was offered a fight with Keith Thurman, and the Ghost turned it down. Maybe he fights Guerrero next. Maybe even he fights Sean Porter, who recently dethroned Devin Alexander. That would be a great fight for Keith Thurman. But I loved the way he overcame adversity first round and just wound up with a scintillating, dominating performance against Jesus Soto Karass.
All right, Mike, you're up.
Well, I think that, first of all, I think Soto Karass did hurt him in the first round. I think Keith Thurman did show that, the guy can carry himself. However, I think Keith Thurman has holes. And I think that he's a fighter that if he was in with a guy that was a little better than Soto Karass, and what I mean by better is that Soto Karass's amateur career was small, and he really learned how to fight as a pro. And when he fought Gabe Rosado and a lot of tough guys, he kind of made his bones with me, and I have a lot of respect for him. However, I think if Thurman gets in with a guy that's a little more proficient at punching and doesn't get hit as much, can slip a little bit more, Keith Thurman's going to be in trouble. He's a big talker. I think he's a little slow, and I think he's going to be found out quick. My prediction is if he gets in with somebody that gives him all he can eat, I don't think that Ghost Guerrero is the guy, but it could be the guy because he's a little quicker and he's a little more head movement, a little better head movement than Soto Karass. It could be interesting, but it was a good fight for Thurman, but I think that he's going to hit a wall and he's going to hit it hard.
All right. Well, you heard it here from Mike Cassell and the Boxing Prophet. So, Prophet, you're doing okay in your prophecies so far, right?
Yeah, and I agree with Mike about Keith Thurman. There are holes in his game, but I thought he turned in a good performance against Karass, and now it's the time for you and Mike to hit me where it hurts.
Okay, but my question was, you went for Thurman, right? So you were okay up to this point. Okay.
Yes, I had
just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. So for the main event, we had Marcos Rene Maidana from Argentina against Adrian Broner from Cincinnati, Ohio. It turned out a lot different than many of you may have thought. I happen to be very happy, and yes, I'm trying to be unbiased, but in this situation I can't. You all know my feelings. I am so happy Maidana won, and I did feel a little bad for Broner because he didn't only get, lose on a decision or anything like that. He got beat up. I mean, he doesn't look well. I hope he's okay. I never want anything too bad happen to anybody. Never even, and nothing. But he was beat up. And watching Maidana and having the 2 8 counts for Broner. I mean, he was down in round 2. He was down in round 8. There are terrible pictures of him hanging off the rope. He just could not adjust. You know, more than anything, I feel bad for Mike Stafford because I like the coach, and I know people are saying now, like Mayweather Sr. is like, oh, I'll train him. He needs a new coach. I don't think he needs a new coach. I think Adrian Broner needs an attitude adjustment, and he needs to change himself. I don't even know if it's necessarily his boxing. It could be him traveling and getting fat and doing hip-hop and coming back and not taking Maidana seriously. So for me, I'm very happy Maidana won. Like I said before, Maidana really wants to fight Floyd Mayweather. I'm not sure if that's going to happen next, but we shall see. Prophet, you are up because you had Adrian Broner and didn't go near Maidana. Go ahead.
I think I agree with a lot of your points. I think Adrian Broner is his own worst enemy. You know, he lost his identity. Whether you had him winning against Ponce de Leon early in his career or not, he's a boxer. He's not a guy to stand there in the pocket and exchange punches with you. Also, you know, Maidana wound up throwing 500 more punches than Broner did. And when Broner threw punches later in the fight, he landed. You know, rounds, I had it 8 rounds to 4 for Maidana, but he knocked him down twice. He won usually on the scorecards. But, you know, Adrian Broner is a boxer. He has no business standing in the pocket. It was just ridiculous. Maidana's not the fastest guy in the world. He hit Broner at will. I thought Broner was a lot better defensively than that. But if you stand in front of a guy, you can't. Not everyone can imitate Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward and Roy Jones, guys who were great defensively in their primes. They didn't have to move. They could stand right in front of you and make you miss. Broner's he's not that type of guy. And Maidana just caught him. Broner just looked. I don't know who was more shell-shocked, Broner when he left the ring and refused to do the post-fight interview, or me. And by the way, there was total lack of class by the fans throwing beer cups at him. It just goes to show you how much emotion that Adrian Broner evokes from the crowd. You know, those who say, you know, he was exposed or whatever, you know, people don't throw beer cups at a normal fighter. They throw beer cups at people they hate. Adrian Broner sold this fight. You know, Maidana won, but Broner evokes a spark from the crowd. Hopefully he'll be back. It sort of reminded me of a little bit of Marco Antonio Barrera, Prince Nassim Hamed. Al Bernstein made a great point on the show. Hamed, for all intents and purposes, was never the same and never really fought again after Barrera exposed him. Broner says he wants a rematch right away. I hope that doesn't happen. In the perfect world for Maidana, he should go to Argentina, and maybe they should have an all-out war between Maidana and Matisse. They could have 100,000 people in a soccer stadium in Argentina. I don't know why he's calling out Mayweather, but you know, it was a great performance by Maidana. I'm not going to take away anything from him, but Adrian Broner proved that sometimes you're your own worst enemy. And he, you know, at the beginning of his career, he boxed beautifully, and he began to believe his own press clippings. You know, knocking out C-plus fighters like Jason Litzow and Gavin Reese. He figured, I don't have to enhance my craft. I don't have to box and move. I can slug with a slugger, and I don't have to work on my defensive skills. And Marcos Maidana's a warrior. He's a blood and guts warrior. He'll die in the ring if he has to. And sometimes the old cliche, Christy, and I'm sure Mike will agree with me, sometimes will overcome skill. And you saw it. You know, I know Mike's down on Broner. He never really thought much of him. But in terms of pure natural skill, Adrian Broner has 70 times more talent than Maidana, but he just didn't use it. And Maidana exposed
All right,
him.
Mike has about 15 seconds to talk, so let's let Mike talk for a second. Go ahead, Mike.
Very quickly, I can just say that, you know, Adrian Broner does have a problem. His problem is his training. He's not a skilled fighter. I've been saying it for years to anybody who would listen. And, you know, he has fought C-plus fighters. Standing flat-footed in the clamshell is not Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is the most technically proficient fighter on the planet. And there's a reason why. It's not because of the way he stands, and it's not because of the way he goes to strip clubs or talks. It's because of the way he trains and it's because of the way he fights. He has the most instinctive, values in the ring. Nobody matches what Floyd Mayweather can do. And Adrian Broner, for all intents and purposes, is a guy that, wanted to be Floyd Mayweather, but, he was exposed big time by Marcos Maidana. Marcos Maidana fighting Floyd Mayweather,
okay.
not a big, not a good idea.
Out of time. Sorry, our show just went so fast, you guys. It was great, but it went too fast. Well, this has been another great show. Sorry, guys. I know it's ending, but we really enjoyed speaking to Cornelius Canine Bundrage and Iceman John Scully. We will be back on Thursday, January 2nd at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's after New Year's with episode 40 with WBO Super Featherweight Champion Mikey Garcia. So we will see you then. A special thanks to Sue Fox, WBN.org, and Mike Cassell for being our panel host today. Wishing you all a very happy holiday and a happy new year from Real Combat Media Boxing Radio family to yours.